You see, thanks to my father's work, I am now in contact with my roots. Actually, my father, Simoną Karczmarą, was born in Warsaw. And when he was 5, his parents decided to show him, to bring him to his grandfather, my great-grandfather. And he came here, and already at that time, he knew how to draw. He was drawing horses, people, and exchanging those drawings against sweets. And he kind of photographed the place so much. Then when he became a young man, he studied at the Fine Arts School in Warsaw. Then when he was 26, he decided, like many young painters, to go to Paris. And he studied there again. Then he happened to meet my mother, Nadia, while he was studying French in the evening. They married, I was born. And then what happened? The war and many things. So my father interrupted his activity as a painter. When he was 57, he was in Canada, because while he was young and at the school, in order to earn some money, a cousin of his, who was a fur dealer, sent him to Russia to buy furs, and he has a good eye, he knew how to assort the fur. This was his trade, in a way. So he was in Canada, and suddenly he had an allergy with the eyes. He had to interrupt his work, and then he was depressed, and my mother decided, she bought some 3 canvases, and she told Simon, when I met you, you were a young painter. So change your mind and start painting.
So it means that art in some way became as a kind of a therapy for
Exactly. She intended to be, and it happened to be. And the beautiful thing is that the last 22 years of his life, he succeeded to live from it. He was successful, you see. He had many collectors in the States and everywhere. Oh yes, another very important thing is that he considered Tzfat as his second shtetl.
Okay.
You see, that's he had 2 shtetl. It's on the catalog, by the way.
Yeah, it's like Alpha and Omega.
Yes, yes. Dieveniškėse and Tzfat. That those were his 2 loves, you know. Yeah. Plus my mother, of course, you know, and yes. And then, interestingly, while he was a very good academic painter, you know, figurative, he was reading at that time, he was reading Shalom Aleichem in Yiddish. And Shalom Aleichem describes the shtetl, you know, and he started painting naively, primitive. And luckily my mother was a wonderful organizer. She started organizing exhibitions. She managed to organize 100 exhibitions in 10 years. So I am so glad that recently I was thinking, I'm not getting younger, and luckily I didn't sell any of his paintings since he passed away in 1982. So I decided that this collection belongs to Lithuania, it belongs to the past. Vilnius was called the Jerusalem, the Little Jerusalem. So I contacted the Gown Museum, and I was lucky that they accepted the exhibition. But what happened is that Victoria, the lady who was in charge of the catalogue, when she heard that my father at every of his exhibition claimed that his inspiration is Dieveniškė, as it was called at that time, contacted Ilona Sediene, the director of the technical school. And Ilona contacted me and they say, if your father always claimed that his inspiration is Dieveniškė, the first exhibition symbolically should be here. So the museum accepted that the first exhibition would be here. And so almost 2 years ago, we had the exhibition here. So this collection, the painting collection is traveling also. It was shown in Riga. It is now being shown in Tallinn. So I am so happy that my father contributes to the memory of this Yiddishkeit, as we say, you know. And it's so beautiful, those chatas, this life. And I'm very glad and fortunate and privileged to witness this, that my father now, his work is being part of the heritage. What happened when I became more aware of Dieveniškė is then we started organizing exhibitions in the United States and Canada and Mexico. So he was always at each of the, you know, for every exhibition you make a little catalog, a presentation, and it was always written that at 5 years old he came to visit his grandfather in Dieveniškė. So I always asked my father to talk to me about it. And then when the exhibition were occurring, then I thought it was very important for me to come to Dieveniškė and to find my roots. And there is also a committee, I'm very glad that we made an association, Simoną Karczmarą Art. There are 3 ladies who are members of this committee, Ilona, Ruta, who is the curator and the director of the collection, and Victoria. There are 3 wonderful ladies who helped me. And my concern was to make sure that this collection will not be dispersed and will be taken care. I'm not so young anymore, so I'm very happy and confident that the collection is in good hands. And my wish to find a place in Vilnius to make a Simoną Karczmarą museum. This is my wish. I hope that I will live long enough to see it being done.
Do you have any, like, your most favorite paintings from this collection?
Yes, there are. You know, he has beautiful weddings. There is Tuvia, the milkman, you know, the musicians, the Wasserträger, the water keeper, you know. And yes, he has some themes which are constantly, yes. His work is very touching. You know, you don't have to be Jewish to appreciate it. You know, yes, everybody can. For Jews, of course, it is their memory, it is their roots. But I think as a painter, aesthetically, it's beautiful. I think he's a good painter.
How would you define your idea of art? Let's say, like one can say that I do it to remember, for example, your.
That's my father. That was my father.
Or the others do it because of beauty. The others like just for self-expression. The others say that a beautiful, a good work of art. It's like some kind of connective tissue because it unites people in a community with a common understanding and so on. So how would you?
No, I think that for my father, his concern was to keep the memory, to be a witness of that period which was gone. Since my father started painting in a kind of naive way in the Städte, many times, particularly at the beginning, the people were referring to Chagall, of course. Menininkas, who are some of the most well-known painters who belong to the École de Paris, the School of Paris. Then I would argue, I would say, of course, but Chagall had Vitebsk as his Städte. My father as Dieveniškė. The same way that when you go to Mexico and you see those murals by Rivera, by many, of course. It is true that when the Mexican painter are inspired by Mexican folklore, Mexican culture and so on. So it is normal that my father also had this shtetl. So in Chagall, and by the way, there is something interesting which was told to me, that if Chagall is the most well-known about those Jewish painter painting the shtetl, Chagall got his notoriety to be famous because he was in Paris and painting more surrealistic way, with a woman on the, a sheep on the house, on the, but people say that my father devoted all his work to the shtetl. You see? And it is a unique collection in a way. It's a unique collection among the Jewish painters, which is specifically devoted on the shtetl. And I think he was well known, and they enjoy his work because he's a colorist, he's very poetic. His work is poetic, is very colorful. And the ambassador of Amon, who came to inaugurate the exhibition, made this remark that his work, we don't feel in his work the sadness that so many painters, Jewish painters after the war, express in their work, the sadness that they lived in. He looked at it with the eyes of the child that he was when he came age 5. You see? So it is interesting that people coming to the exhibition here in Vilnius told me, Nathan, your father's collection is unique, and I'm very happy and proud of it.